to Respectful Disagreements, the hour-long journey where perspectives collide and conversations ignite. I'm your co-host, Joel Peterson, and tonight we're delving deep into the heart of some of today's most pressing and provocative topics. In this corner, we have myself, a conservative black male voice, a man who brings a blend of traditional values and insightful analysis to the table, and my lovely co-host.
Well, hello there, friend. My name is Cherie, and we are friends. Come on now, we're really good friends. We just
Disagree.
disagree on some things, and so we're here today, back at it again. Happy Black History Month to you.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So today's topic, we are going to talk about relationships. At least we're going to start there. I got some things I want to talk to you about. And so you and I started a conversation last week, maybe it was last week we were talking about this, and so we wanted to know and talk about like what do people look for when it comes to getting into a relationship, when your eye catches someone from across the room and you start the conversation, you go on out on these dates. Mm-hmm. What are these what are you looking for? What are the characteristics? And so part of that conversation I started talking about, which we had a conversation, mm-hmm. is that I don't feel that the qualities and the characteristics that a person embodies to have a meaningful relationship have anything to do with gender. I believe that healthy relationships are built in trust and honesty, and those don't have anything to do with gender, right? And so these are the conversations that I feel people should start to have. Like you're going out on a date, you know, we've had other conversations on other shows about what those conversations should look like, or how they should start off, and how do you find this perfect mate that, you know, you can spend the rest of your life with. And so you tend to have different thoughts as usual.
Yeah, I mean, it is such an interesting topic, and it's a topic that is so nuanced. But when I look at a potential partner, I look at them from the standpoint of how opposite are they than me. And the reason I look at it that way, so first, let me not be kind of ridiculous. All right. If you're talking about somebody catching my eye, mm-hmm. or something like that from across the room, then we have to be very honest and understand that when you catch my eye from across the room, I'm not looking at your heart. I'm not looking at
I agree. I don't disagree with that. That's why I said, and you go on the first date. Sure. Okay, right. So it's like, yes, the physical attraction is there.
Absolutely.
And now I got some check boxes I need to see. You got some questions.
Right.
To find out.
But then it also goes into, why are we dating? Right. Am I dating with intention of you being a potential partner, or am I dating to just have some companionship, to have fun?
Absolutely.
Because those are two different things.
Absolutely.
Right?
We're going to go down the other road of, I'm looking for a partner here.
I'm looking for a partner. So then I have to talk about, I have to look at it as, how opposite are you than me?
Why opposite?
Because
opposites attract?
No. I mean, maybe
somebody too much like you. Y'all gonna argue all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. So I need you.
I mean, but we are
right. So I need you to be. I need for my strengths to be your weaknesses, and my weaknesses to be your strengths. So when I'm talking about opposite, I'm looking at it from the perspective of legacy, and I'm looking at it from the perspective of family. So when I look at, my children, there are things that I'm not good at, right? I'm really not good at, or that my views are so kind of narrow in certain instances, but that's not necessarily good for my children, right? So I need to be with someone who is on the opposite end of that so that they can get both sides of it. And that person can have influence over me that can kind of pull me back to kind of reality. And then I can have influence over her to pull her back to reality as well. And then therefore the children and my legacy kind of get the best of both worlds. So that's what I'm looking for.
Absolutely. But I'm going to even get to that point of having someone who you can push pull with in those relationships. I'm gonna go back to the first two things I said. You gotta find someone that you trust. That's going to be open and honest with you.
Sure.
And those are gender neutral, right?
Trust is,
yes.
I agree with that. Trust is.
Honesty isn't?
Honesty is, yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
That was concerned.
Honesty is gender neutral.
Right. And someone, to your point.
However, honesty is nuanced. All right.
What's nuanced about honesty? Either it's the truth or it's not.
Yeah, but people can't handle the some people, right, can't necessarily handle the truth, and therefore I have to kind of decorate the truth in a digestible way.
So
right, so it's nuanced.
So again, another one of these qualities that I feel are gender neutral and have to come in a relationship is your ability to hold a safe space, not only for yourself, but for the person that you're with.
Sure.
So that you can have these conversations. Again, doesn't have to do anything with if it's a man and a woman having a relationship, a woman and woman, two men. I think those are just core pieces that are needed. And I'm going to say in relationships across the board. So whether you are looking for a romantic partner, whether you're looking for a friendship, I think those are just foundational pieces.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you.
Okay.
But I think what you just said is a great clarifier, because those things that you're talking about has to do with any type of relationship, period. A parental relationship, a brother-sister relationship, a boss employee relationship, cousin relationship, friendship relationship, romantic relationship. Honesty, trust, being a person of good character, those things are universal to all. But I think we're talking about romantic relationships.
Yes, we are.
Right. And so then I feel we have to kind of.
But we agree that those are foundational pieces that are needed before you can do the whole, like, I need someone to compliment me, because that's going to look different for everybody.
Sure.
You want someone who's opposite. Some people, however that works for them.
Right.
So relationships. So I'm going to take this a little further in our conversation, let the listeners in. We then spinned off and started talking about roles in relationships, because they play, in some people's relationships, whole different weight and value.
Sure.
Right? A role in a female to male relationship. Right.
Yeah.
There's sometimes some power dynamics there, but a lot of, I should say, conversation and talk in the media, you see it on social media, is that of what one is toxic masculinity. Right. We talk about alpha femininity, whatever that is.
Sure.
I looked up, I used the Googles to look some of this up.
Sure.
And how they shape relationships, particularly for these two words in the negative type, because you hear let me rephrase here, by social media, stories in the media of toxic masculinity taking shape and form in relationships, and this is why some women are having difficulties finding a man. And on the flip side, you hear, again, social media stuff, that it's hard for men to find a good partner in a woman, because a woman has these alpha male qualities and won't I guess, get in her place of whatever that may mean for that person. And so you kind of took the spin on this that these words mean nothing. They're buzzwords.
Yeah. Yeah. As you were saying those, I kind of chuckled.
I heard you.
Yeah, I kind of chuckled a little bit. Toxic masculinity. I don't feel that that I would say 90% of the population should even ever utter those words. For the simple fact of most people can't define what masculinity is.
Well, here, let me just jump in and read what the good Googles say. So it is a dominant form of masculinity that uses dominance, violence, and control to assert power over someone or something.
Yeah.
What none of those I mean,
no. Because all of those words are very subjective when you talk about dominance or when you talk about that. So I feel like we have to get very clear when we're talking about those types of words,
especially when they come to relationships, because dominance in a relationship
is what? Because this is the thing, right? I can't speak for all men and you can't speak for all women, right? And so there's some part of the population where people like to be dominated. So okay. So in that,
can dominance exist without the violence, without being subjected to unhappiness?
So then we have to define the word violence and unhappiness.
We know what violence is.
No, we don't. Not in this context. Not in this context. So
you putting your hands on somebody.
That is violence.
It's violence.
That is violence.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. And when I'm talking about, so I guess when I'm talking about those words that you mentioned, I was thinking more so emotionally and not necessarily physically.
Okay.
Right. So for somebody but even again, there are people and they're part of the population that kind of they like that, they want that, they desire that. They desire a man to be in total control. Or there's some men that desire a woman to be in total control, right? So it's not that we can just sit there and blanketly say this is toxic, because
if you're suppressing someone from being their true self,
but again, there's a population, there are people who want that. There are populations, if we go to different cultures, some people want that. They desire that. They look for that in a partner.
To be suppressed?
To have a person take.
I'm not saying, so it's different than, so give your definition of what you mean by dominance, because I don't want to put words in your mouth, because I am not talking about like being the provider, being
no, I'm not talking about that either.
I'm talking about where
what I say goes and what I say goes, and I have the final say. And
we don't have to find one of these people.
There are tons of cultures of Amish, and there are. I could go on and on and on about many cultures that they look for that. So yeah, I don't feel that we can say that. And so then here's the other issue with kind of those buzzwords, the toxic masculinity. When most people use the word toxic masculinity, they don't necessarily understand what masculinity is in the first place. They can't even actually define or give a definition of what masculinity is. So if you can't give a definition of what masculinity is, you can't say something is toxic. Because like for instance, if I go to a restaurant, if I go to a drive-through and I get a soda, right? And I drink the soda and I say it's flat. The only way I know it's flat is because I've had a drink of a soda that's not flat. So the only way for me to say something is toxic is that I must know what actual masculinity is. And when I ask people or anybody else, what is the definition of masculinity? What is that? Most people are lost.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are lost with the definition of masculinity, you therefore cannot utter the term toxic masculinity.
Would that go on the other side of the spectrum too as well?
As far as what?
Feminine. Being
Yes.
that whatever
Yes.
that I think it came up in the whole like Cat Williams and the Club Shay Shay stuff where he made a comment about women being alpha
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, not having the ability to I don't know, stay in their place, so to speak, or this idea that, you know, you try to take on male, I don't know, attributes, male, which again, I think is, to your point, going back to then what does that look like? What does masculinity look like? Any thoughts? Is there, I mean, clearly there's a definition, but
sure. Yeah, so I'm trying.
Are there roles that in relationships, when you're in a male-female relationship,
Yeah.
are there roles that each person has to play in order for the relationship to work?
So yes and no. Okay. And of course I'm coming from my perspective, but yes and no. I do believe that gender roles are prevalent and necessary. Now, what those gender roles are is where the debate can come in at.
Okay.
And how those gender roles are implemented is where the discussion needs to.
Are there more feminine roles
discussions
and more masculine roles, or are these just roles and whoever is available to
No,
take them on
no.
can take them on?
I believe that there are, yes, I believe that there are roles for a man, and I believe there are roles for a woman.
Ooh, let's talk about that.
But I don't believe that.
I gotta know what my roles are.
I don't believe that they are relegated to housework.
That's okay. So right, because the I don't know, old, you know, the stereotypical pregnant, barefoot, cooking, laundry.
Get in the kitchen.
You better go
barefoot in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So no.
It's like here go cancel culture. Right
No, I'm not saying that at all. No.
What are these roles then? I'm curious.
Yeah, I am. So I do believe that the male is the head of the house. Okay. And what the head of the house means is not what I say goes. What I say, I have the final say in everything, or you better do what. I feel like that right there is misguided, right?
Not toxic.
Misguided.
I would file that under toxic too, but okay.
You can't file it under toxic because there's a portion of the population that wants that. So you can't do. So you could say it might be toxic to you.
It's toxic to me.
Okay.
And a lot of other people.
So getting back to these gender roles,
right?
I believe the male is the head of the house, and in that, his responsibility is to ensure provision and protection of the house. All right. And with provision is not necessarily the old stereotypical way of I gotta make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. I feel like that's misguided.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
But I do believe that it is part of the male's responsibility to create a culture in the house where everyone can be their best selves. Okay? That everyone can be their true authentic selves. And so what I mean by provision is the the male sets that culture to where everyone, children, wife, or anyone else in the house, um, has kind of these rules and responsibilities that allow them to be their best self. So it's their job to create
So the
and
wife,
cultivate
the woman in the
this.
house, is not a part of that.
She
Or-
1,000%.
okay.
A
All right.
thousand
Just checking
percent.
in. Just checking
Again,
in.
it's not the man that says everything has to be my way or the highway.
Okay.
Not at all. A good leader, whether it's in the home or the business, can look at their employees or look at um, the people that listen to them and recognize their strengths and skill sets and allow them to lead and be great. Every great boss knows that. Knows that, okay, these are my employees. And if this person right here is absolutely excellent at budgeting, if this person over here is absolutely excellent at strategy or whatever, I have to create a culture to where you're lifted up in that and lead in that area.
Okay. I don't disagree with any of that.
And
actually.
then so that's provision. But then also we get into protection. I believe it is the male's role to protect, physically protect, as well as emotionally and spiritually protect. It is the male's role to do that. So I and I do believe that
not
is
everybody's
based.
a protector, though. I mean, and especially when it comes,
Everyone needs to be a protector.
I mean,
Every
they can
male
be,
needs to be able to
what's,
protect their woman. Like if
I mean,
we do this right, so let me ask you this question.
not everybody's a fighter.
No. Okay. So I will say this. Do you believe in the constructs of a family home that a father who's present in the house, should he be responsible for protecting his daughter?
I mean, he's an adult. He should be, but I would.
Or
I
son,
feel the same.
whatever the case.
Or son, but I feel the same way about the woman in the house. She is going to want to protect.
Wonderful. But
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is, should a father?
Sure, of course.
Right. Okay. So when people get married,
okay,
all right, there's a tradition in marriage,
okay,
or in the traditional vows, where they say, who gives this bride away? And usually the father walks the bride down the aisle. The father walks the bride down the aisle, and therefore hands him over to the husband.
I just
to
want
the
to go on
husband
record
to
saying
be.
that I don't agree with any of that, but okay.
Okay, so
because women are not property to be given away.
No. So
But
okay,
that's another thing.
Yeah, that's definitely total another thing. So again, so if you agree that a father should be a protector of his daughter, right? A father should be the protector of his daughter,
of his family. Yes.
So
yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm just saying that that's not just a male characteristic of a family. That's all.
I'm not saying that it's not either, but what I'm saying is I feel like the responsibility falls more on the father. If, for instance, you, well, let me not say you. If, for instance, a family is walking down the street and some danger approaches, and the danger is pointed towards a child, I feel like it is the father's responsibility to handle that. Now, am I not saying that the woman won't jump in or whatever the case may be? Sure. But I also feel like the responsibility falls on the father for that. This is the reason why.
Okay.
Because
What's
of
the reason?
biology, right? We're stronger. We
No,
there's no some.
It is. Not everybody out here swole, out here ready to,
no.
Like strong, like
strong. Like muscle density. If you go into biology,
I'm not saying that, but not everybody is.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. If you was to take your muscle, I'm not talking about your fight internally, right? I'm just talking about just biology wise, your muscles are not as dense as a male's muscles.
So I guess what I'm saying is that does not apply to everybody's relationship and how they are. Like I have friends who are tall, bigger women, and their partner is probably is smaller than them. They're not physically stronger. But that's just a one case. That's just a one off.
Yeah, I truly doubt that. I truly doubt that.
Okay.
So, but anyway.
Let's keep going.
Right. Just with biology, the biology states
that the man should be stronger.
The man should be stronger.
Should be stronger.
Right.
Gotcha. Yep.
Should be stronger.
We can agree
Therefore, biology also states that the man should be the protector. There's no reason why the man is stronger. There's no other reason. If you look in the animal kingdom, if you look in any of any of other instances, the man protects.
Okay.
It's because of biology. They're faster, they're bigger, they're stronger. On average.
Okay.
On average.
We can say on average.
And
sure.
then on top of that, even if we go deeper into biology, testosterone, which is aggression, which controls muscle mass, which controls fat distribution, all of those things. Males have 5 times more testosterone than women. This is not debatable. Like it's biology.
I just want to go back to, so therefore they are, when it comes to the relationship, 100% the protector. That is their role because of biology.
Biology states that the male, because of your physical gifts.
What about the other things, such as like, you might be big and strong, but what if you are not? That's just not. I just feel like what I hear you saying is that because men are bigger and physical, that therefore they should be the protectors. But I think there's another layer to that, is that you pointed out that internal, not everybody has that internal fight. Nobody, you might be bigger and stronger, but you might be like, I got to negotiate this out because I'm not a fighter, right? I'm not.
That's cool.
Right.
But that's still protection.
Okay.
That's still protection.
That's still protection.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
If I can talk out of this situation and I don't have to throw hands, that's still protection.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we'll talk some more about this after we get back from the break. If you got some comments, please drop them right on Facebook in the comments, or give us a call at 414-444-5250. We'll be right back.
chance to enter the grand prize giveaway. 2 tickets to Mr. C.L. Woodson III's play, Them Golden Girls Saved But Not Yet Sanctified. 2 tickets to the Dance Theater of Harlem. A $200 American Express gift card. A $100 gift card to the Red Crab Seafood Restaurant. A Valentine's flower bouquet from Carter's Creations. And a box of chocolates. So stay tuned for your chance to enter the Valentine's Sweetheart giveaway. Just be the 8th caller whenever you hear
Lay your head on my pillow.
The winner will be announced inside Pillow Talk on Monday, February 12th at 8 p.m. Keep listening for your chance to qualify.
Hello, I am attorney Coral Plus, and I'm inviting you to join me for a new show here at WNOV.
FM WNOV.
Welcome back. You are listening to Respectful Disagreements, and Joel and I are here talking about kind of the characteristics that you look for when you are out in that dating market and you are looking for your special someone. What are those characteristics? And so we have gone down this path and role of kind of what these roles look like inside relationships. So I want you to pick it back up where you left off at.
Yeah. So we talked about, providing and what that means, the male setting the culture of the house and allowing everyone to flourish and be their best selves. But when we go into the protection of the spiritually protecting, emotionally protecting, and physically protecting, it is something that I do believe that falls under the responsibility of the male. And so when we're talking about these gender roles, I do believe and subscribe to the fact that men have a certain role, and I feel like a lot of it's based in biology. Sure. Of what we're talking about. And so again,
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So those things that you mentioned, are they equally as necessary for a woman to have and hold space for those same qualities for her partner who is male? The protection, the safe space, the protection spiritually, emotionally, all of those things.
Yes and no. Yeah. So So I believe that the woman should create a safe space for the male, right?
Absolutely.
However, I don't necessarily believe that the male should.
Maybe y'all didn't, especially if she's bigger than you.
Cut it out.
If she can whoop you, she need to create a safe space for you.
Yes.
So I believe that she should create a safe space for a male, but I don't necessarily believe that the male should. This is really nuanced. Should use it that much, okay? And so,
if you can't have I think about all the things that go on in this world.
Sure.
And the guard, the barrier that you need to have up to make it through your day, to go to work, especially as Black, brown, and Indigenous folks.
Yep.
We we have to put on a little coat of armor
Sure.
when we go out.
Sure.
And so I need, and I'm pretty sure my partner, men, women, all of us need a space where we can take all that off. All of it.
I agree.
All of
I
it
agree.
off.
I agree, but not necessarily for the. So the male should be vulnerable enough in a relationship to be able to express his feelings to his spouse.
Okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. However, I feel like that can be overused because as a leader of the house, especially in traumatic times, I don't need my leader to be extra vulnerable. All right. Just so for instance, if we work together, right? And there's something crazy that happens at the job.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
And we get called into a staff meeting
Mm-hmm.
and we're panicking.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are panicking about what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
If the leader then comes into the staff meeting and is equally panicked, we don't have confidence that we're
No,
gonna
I'm gonna
get
think
through
something
this.
going down. I'm out.
Right.
It's like
Absolutely.
like right. So
So then
if
let's
something
do
so
that.
big, so if something's so big that it got the leader shook, then something is wrong.
So that's my whole point. What would have been best for the leader
Is to mask all that?
what will be best for the leader is in the case of me with my employees,
That's
my employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me showing a little bit of empathy and a little bit of understanding of what is going on,
Sure.
but I also have to show the drive and the strategy,
Yes.
and all of that, and it
Yes.
has to be detached from emotion.
I
completely.
do not disagree with you in a work setting. I am talking about my home.
So the home setting is the home is even, the stakes are even higher.
Man.
So in a traumatic situation, I don't need my leader to be boo-hooing. If you and I are up in the bed and a window breaks, I don't need my leader to be tucked up under the covers crying too.
I hear what you're saying. So to me,
so
that's a big swing.
So what I'm saying
But
is,
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is that, yeah, you can provide a safe space, but I don't feel like the man can overuse that, because as the leader, I can't be equally panicked as everyone in the house. Because if I am, you wouldn't like that. I guarantee you would be like, You mean to tell me I gotta go downstairs? I guarantee you would.
If she bigger than you, I'm stuck on that one. If she bigger than you, hey, go down there and check things out. Come on back and let me know we good.
So to Mr. Debo's point, I think there is a time and a place for everything.
Sure.
And yes, you can't be the protector over all things. And this is in the household, in your work situation. I get it. I don't disagree with you on that. But yeah, there are going to be times where there might be things, especially I feel like you were talking about instances that are traumatic, right?
Whether it be physical or even emotional,
absolutely,
whether it be someone dying, a death in the family, or whatever it is.
But because everybody deals and process those things differently, I just, again, I think overall what you're saying, okay, but I get hung up on everything and all the time, because that is tiring. That is wearing, and that is not
heavy as the crown. Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Look here.
Joe, can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
I've been married just about 30 years. There have been times when my wife had to be the stronger person
Mm-hmm.
for whatever the situation was that it just wasn't there for me.
Absolutely.
So to Cherie's point, I don't always have to be the strongest. It could be something concerning my daughter where my wife needs to
absolutely
to handle that, and I need to.
And I agree. I 1000% agree with you, and that's why I said in the very beginning of what leadership is that you recognize again the situation and what people are good at, and you allow them to do that in that specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that that's still a part of leadership, of understanding I ain't got it today.
Right, and
I ain't got it.
That's you went exactly where I was going.
Right,
being smart enough as the leader to realize this isn't the fight I have to fight.
Right,
let's see how well I've surrounded myself with whom,
sure.
and what they've picked up, what they've learned, what strengths they've garnered from me.
Absolutely,
as a leader. So yeah.
Yes,
to Cherie's
and
point.
and understanding when in the time to take a back seat, right?
Agreed.
To get out of the way.
No, I agree with all of that.
And if being able to hear that, because sometimes folks want to lead and it's like, no, it's time for you to sit down right now. Being able to take that again, that trust, that honesty piece in a relationship to understand that you don't have to lead all the time. You have support. You have a soft space for you to go and have that, and let the other leader of the house lead.
Absolutely.
Because Joe, to be honest, the definition I heard from you was more like dictatorship, like you the man.
That's what I heard too.
I'm with Cherie tonight. Last week I was kind of on your side, but this week I think you're way off base.
So no, I'm definitely not talking about dictatorship, and I think I said that in the beginning of, I don't think that when we talk about a male being the leader of the house, that is not the male getting its way all the time. That is not the male saying my way or the highway or anything like that. So no, I don't subscribe to that at all. What I am saying is that the male is responsible for setting the culture of the house.
Are you married?
Yes.
Because I don't set the culture for my house. My wife does.
Okay.
She runs the house. That's her thing. I give her what she needs to make that happen. That's responsibilities and duties I don't have to even
when
worry about.
But when I say set the culture,
I take out the garbage.
House,
on occasion I wash dishes. On occasion I cook. Aside from that, she runs the house.
Right. So when I say set the culture of the house, I'm not necessarily talking about execution and duties. Right. Setting the culture of the house is setting the having the discussions with your partner of what is acceptable in the house, what is.
Wait a minute now.
What's that?
You said what's acceptable in the house?
Yeah, I said having a conversation with.
You know who you sound like right now?
What's that?
Danny Glover.
But I don't
she can't go get the mail.
I don't think you heard what I just said. I said having a conversation.
Set the culture.
No, I said having a conversation with your spouse about what is acceptable in the house. I didn't say telling her,
but that's a dual thing.
That
that's not a.
That is.
Well, that's what he's saying. That he's saying conversation, meaning y'all come to an agreement.
We come to agreement.
But at the end of the day, you are saying that the male is the leader of the household. Because I don't think it is a singular thing.
Because this, right?
Well, I'll say I'm the head of my household.
But that's the same.
But I don't know. But I don't have to run it to be the head of the household.
No, running. So a CEO, right? A CEO doesn't necessarily run the company.
Exactly.
Right, but he sets the culture of the company.
Not necessarily.
No, he sets the culture of the company. All the decisions and all of that stuff kind of flows up to him. So the CEO sets the culture, but the COO really runs the organization.
Yeah, but some CEOs don't have a clue of how the company's being ran until something go wrong. They be like, I mean, all of this thing's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. but that's my point. So the CEO doesn't necessarily say doesn't go through what's going on. come together with right.
Like what you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And so
Carver, you with him?
No,
I just no, I with Sheree tonight, man.
No, I honestly feel like we're saying the same thing. To be honest, I really feel like we're saying the exact same thing.
Sort of.
No one.
I still say if she's bigger than me, then she needs to give me a safe space.
So as we ride along here, I do want to talk about then this flip side of your thought process, but on the ladies, the feminine role within this relationship, because we talked about male, you head of household, leader, what is that look like, or what's your definition or the role in which since the male has this leader role, so if that's leader, then what are women left with if they're not leading in their household here? They're not the CEO, they're the COO. To Mr. Debo's point, they the COO because
if we're gonna use those terms, we all understand that the COO is probably way more vital in everyday operations than the CEO. So
way to clean that up, Joel. You're good.
No. We'll see, because then, so no, I'm gonna keep going down there, because then vital is that, again, we touched on, like, it doesn't matter who does the actual execution, but then at the same time, I hear you saying that the woman's role is about ensuring the execution happens. So the laundry, the cleaning, the dishes.
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
So when you alluded to just a moment ago, when you said the operations, if you will,
sure,
what does that entail in the way you're defining it?
It can entail that, but again, the leader. All right. Now we're going back to the leader and the setting of the culture, is that you have to survey the landscape and find out who is great at what. Right?
Or just who has the time and capacity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I know my wife is listening. I'm trying to.
I hope she is, and I hope she's bigger than you.
She's definitely not bigger than me. And even if she was.
All right, now don't start that. It will be some respectful disagreements when you get to the house.
But what I was saying, now you made me lose my train of thought, Debo.
Here, I have a question. So my question is, so I want to let you finish that, because my question has to do with, you have man, woman, children in the house. Can the woman be the CEO? See, I don't like the dead air time, because that's.
I'm thinking. Can I think?
I mean, what's there to think about? I guess I don't. I mean,
so here's the thing. Here's the thing. If we look at businesses across the world, all right, because truly businesses are like a reflection of like home life, to be honest. Some, all right. Well-run businesses, there are a lot of things that are very similar to well-run home life. Okay. So in well-run businesses, it is not best practice to have two CEOs. Okay? It's not best practice to have co-CEOs, because when crisis happens, it's cool, because there are some companies that have co-CEOs. It's cool when things are everything is flowing great. But what has happened, and what has been studied, like by the Harvard Business Review and other different places, is that when crisis hits a business and they have two CEOs, those businesses crumble. All right. So I feel like that is the exact same when it comes to just life in general, right? Like life in
I
general.
feel like you're contradicting yourself because you just said that like this is this unit piece.
It is.
There is this working together. There's this collaboration that the leader is setting the tone.
Culture. Yeah, not the
right.
tone. Yeah.
Okay. Setting the culture.
Mm-hmm.
If I am within that culture, I'm willing to partake in co-pilot this, then clearly there's some terms and agreements that we agree on that we know are unlike a business, right? They might have different objectives or things that they might see, like, oh, we're gonna lose money if we do this or whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be true for the household too. However, if that initial agreement on these are the morals and values and culture in which we want to live our lives and therefore raise children in, I don't know. I think that goes opposite of what you just said.
I don't think so. And this conversation is so nuanced that it cannot really be done in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But
agreed.
What I'm trying to say is what you're talking about, that happens with the conversation that happens between.
It's the first date conversation.
Well, I'd probably say fifth date conversation.
Okay.
Right. Of how we're going to possibly raise our children.
Well, no,
and things
but
like that.
Well, not even
And-
how, but I think honestly,
these
no,
are
those are
the-
great questions to bring up on the date because I think
not the first date. If you come to me and we're on the first date and you talking about how I'm gonna raise my kids with you,
if you had, I would want to know.
Yeah.
Again, what type of date are we on? Like
You said a first date.
But like, are we, to your point, are we dating for
With
longevity
intentionality?
with intentions, or are we
Yeah.
dating for a little hookup in the party night?
Right.
I'm
Even
dating
with intentions. I'm
I'ma
not
tell
gonna
you.
I'm not gonna ask you about children on the very first date. But anyway, I'm trying to get to know who you are to decide if I'm gonna have children with you or not. So that's that.
It's a general question, but
Of course.
yes,
Of course. So no, what I'm saying is once we have these conversations and once we agree on this, right, then it is something that we agreed on, but it is something that needs to be enforced by a person. Not that the other person can't enforce it. Not that the other person doesn't take part in implementing those things. But again, I don't feel like you can have co-CEOs. I don't feel like you can have that. Because it works great when things are going smooth. But when things are going haywire, which happens in every relationship,
mm-hmm.
you can't have two people that because then you're gonna split the house.
I disagree. If we have gotten and built this mutual relationship,
yes,
based upon again the values, the
Mhm.
things that we have talked about, and I'm not talking about like in this moment we're in danger. Oh, so let's sit down and we need to have a conversation about what we're gonna do. But in times of trouble and times that things come up,
traumatic stuff, yeah, that's threatening the family structure.
I don't think there's the hierarchy, which I feel that you're explaining should exist.
And why not? I'm just saying, why not?
Because the other person in relationship feelings, ideas are not
Not
inferior.
true. That's not true. That what you're saying. I feel like you're talking about bad leadership. You're talking about bad leadership right now.
Okay, so it's done in consultation then.
Yeah, but you're
no. I'm asking because I feel like you're saying that the it's like, okay, this is what I think we can do, but I need your final approval.
Again, this is so nuanced.
Because you are saying that.
I am not saying that. I am not saying that at all. What I am saying is, I feel like you're talking about, and I feel like the things that you're talking about comes from a distrust of men, period. And I don't doubt you. I don't doubt you because we haven't been on our job. I don't doubt you on that. But what I'm saying is I feel like the distrust of having someone being in a leadership role comes from the distrust of men.
We'll see. We got a caller. Caller.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm enjoying y'all conversation.
Well, thank you. Thanks for listening.
So I got a comment for Joel about the leadership.
Uh-huh.
So you said it can be two leaders in a household.
Can be two CEOs. There,
two CEOs.
Yeah, there needs to be two leaders. Absolutely, but not two CEOs.
So I beg to differ on that. A CEO is your leader. So I think it should be. I think it's a dual job because when it comes to the household, the woman is going to take leadership over the household. Now, when it comes to cars and stuff, it depends on the woman's position on that. If she is good with cars, then she's good with cars. It depends on what situation you're in as far as leadership goes. And that's just a conversation in the beginning. Now, remember you said that there has to be a conversation. I agree with that, but I think that it can be two leaders.
So I agree with you that there should be two leaders. I'm not going to pick a partner that I'm not going to pick a wife or a long-term partner that I can't trust her wisdom, that I can't trust what she says, that I can't trust her opinion. Like, so.
But you are saying that the final decisions come down to the male, and that's just not.
Joel, are you backtracking?
I am never backtracking.
I was just checking.
Never. Absolutely.
Is she bigger than you though?
I don't think
would be the question.
I don't think the final decision comes down to the male all the time.
Absolutely not. I agree.
think it depends on the situation.
So again, and I think I just feel like people aren't necessarily kind of listening, and I feel like they're hearing different.
We thank you for the call. We're going to try to squeeze one more call in.
Okay, Joel, give me a situation that proves your point.
You're not going to let the next caller on?
No.
Well, I'm the CEO right now. Call us next week.
Thank you so much, caller.
Let's try
Thank
to squeeze
you.
in that other caller.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Hey there, caller. You are on with Respectful Disagreements.
Yes, thank you.
Go right ahead with your comment.
I was just listening to this last caller talk about the roles of people in a relationship, and she said that the man's supposed to handle the car and the lady's supposed to handle the house. And my take is, whoever can handle whatever the best should handle it.
Agreed.
And take a car for example. When you go to buy a car, the woman wants to take a man with her so she won't get ski-rooed. And if the man doesn't know anything, they'll both get ski-rooed.
You're right.
And in the case, I'm a real estate broker. And when I was trying to sell houses, the woman always picked the house out.
That's right.
Very often the man didn't want the house because he was afraid. But then when the woman wants to back out of the deal, she tells the man to go kill the deal.
Yeah.
And I think most women are better running a house, but I have experienced a lot of women who make the man feel like he's handling things while she's handling them. And if they both feel good about it, that's a wrap.
Is this Reverend Andrew Ward?
This is the Reverend Dr. Andrew Ward.
Any of what you just said biblical based at all?
wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. And with all that getting, get understanding.
There you go.
As an educator, I used to say that to my students regularly. And I said that, and another student was sitting in the class with his Bible, and he told me something that I'll never forget. He showed me a verse where both of these verses are in the Proverbs. They said, a fool despises wisdom and instruction. And I told him, can you look around this classroom and see some of those? Everybody who's messing around while you're trying to teach them, they despise wisdom and instruction, right?
There you go. Hey, Reverend Doctor, we thank you so much. We do have to wrap up the show, so we want to get back to our host.
I thought I would get in because I knew that. And you have a good one, and you're a masterpiece of what you do, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. We'll talk.
Yeah. No, so I honestly believe that a lot of the conversations are based on what I was saying in the beginning, that it's based out of a distrust for men and males and men in their leadership. Again, the leadership or the CEO or whatever that is not based in dictatorship. It's not based in what I say goes, but it is based in looking at the entire situation and finding out again who's best at what and allowing them to flourish in their roles. And I do believe that is a job of a person. And if, again, in crisis situations that threaten the family, whatever it is, whether it be emotional, whether it be physical, or whatever the case is, you can't have two CEOs. You can't have two people leading the thing, because what happens when those two people disagree in a crisis situation? What happens when there has to be a person that says, okay, it goes on because of this is what we're doing. So again, we Sheree, can we pick this up next week?
Joe, you should be signing off right now.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Go ahead, Sheree.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening. And we are clearly ending this show on a respectful disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate you listening, and we will be back here next Monday at 7.
Absolutely.
Take care, y'all.